Imagine the situation wherein you purchase any property, you pay the sales consideration, and your sale deed is registered. And after some times, it comes to your knowledge that the property which is purchased by you is already mortgaged with the bank. What will be your situation? I can understand it will be like the fall of sky in the life of anyone. But my question is whether the law is the problem or the lack of verification. You know the answer. Welcome friends. I am Muhammad Arkam G Sheikh, an advocate and company secretary. And today we are going to discuss about checkpoints or the checklist which are required to be considered or verified before you purchase any property. So the first point is title. When I say title, meaning thereby we need to verify whether the seller of the property is actual owner or not. In order to verify the same, in case of urban property, we should download the property card, and in case of rural property, we should download the extract of 712, 6 and 8A. From these extracts and the property card, we will get the chain of the transaction for last 30 years. So we need to verify from the transaction of the last 30 years and check how the seller has become the owner of the property. And if chain breaks, then you should stop the transaction at there only. Now the next point is the encumbrance certificate. What is encumbrance? Encumbrance means any additional burden on the property. It may be lease, lien or the loan. So before we purchase the property, we are required to take the encumbrance certificate from the sub-registrar and check whether there is any outstanding loan or lease or lien on this property or not. But here there is one catch. Here those transactions will be or those transactions can be traced which are registered. So therefore we are required to move towards the third step, and that is to take this search from the website of CERSAI, that is CERSAI. This website is maintained by the Central Registry which is formed under the SARFAISI Act 2002. So before we purchase the property, we should check that whether there is any outstanding loan on this particular property or not. So the case in which the loan is availed but registered mortgage deed is not executed, but there is an equitable mortgage or any other type of mortgage, then you can easily trace the same from this website by taking the search. You may require to take the help of some professional for this purpose. Now the next step is when you purchase the property from any company or corporate entity, then first you should visit the website of the MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and check whether the corporate entity which is selling you the property is active or not. If that company is strike off, then you should stop the transaction at there only. And if that company is active, then you can proceed with the transaction. And if the company is either under corporate insolvency resolution process, that is CIRP, or liquidation, then there is a different procedure and proceedings which is required to be followed before you purchase any property. Now after this verification, you should always insist for the search report from some professional such as some CA, CS or even some lawyer having knowledge of corporate laws, and check that whether the property which is purchased by you is mortgage or not. Here in under the Companies Act it is called as charge. So if property is under charge, unless and until that charge is satisfied, you should not proceed with the transaction. Now the next step, and that is to verify if you are purchasing the property, let's say in some under construction project or under in some development project, then you should always verify whether that project is registered with the RERA authority or not. And before the handing over the possession to you, whether the builder has obtained the BU permission from the local authority or not. If that project is not registered with RERA authority, then you should stop the transaction at there only. And if you are first time investor or belongs to some lower middle class, then I would advise you not to invest in any under construction project, because there may be huge chances of arising of any dispute before the project is completed. Now the next step, or I would say next step of verification. See, if you are purchasing the agricultural land, then you must be an agriculturist. If you are not agriculturist and you are purchasing the agricultural land by making any sort of arrangement, and if any dispute would arise in future, then you will be almost handicapped to avail any legal remedy, because your transaction itself is void and illegal since inception. Now, next step or next checklist is, if you are purchasing the property from trust, then the procedures and process which is mentioned or prescribed under the Trust Act must be followed. Otherwise, your transaction will be illegal. And in case of any dispute, you will not have any legal remedy, or I would say efficacious legal remedy. Now, let's move to some property which is situated in some zone, let's say in industrial zone or any other zone. So before you purchase the property, check the eligibility criteria, whether you are fulfilling that criteria or not. If you are not fulfilling that criteria, then I would say you should not enter into that transaction. Now, if you are even eligible, you should always take the NOC from that chairman or the president of that particular zone before you complete the entire transaction. The similar case can be in society. If you are purchasing the property from society, approach the I would say secretary of the society and take the NOC from him before you complete your entire transaction. Now, next is to verify whether there is any pending litigation on this property or not. In order to verify the same, you can either engage some lawyer practicing before the concerned court and check whether there is any whether there is any pending litigation or dispute against the property which is proposed to be purchased by you or not. Alternatively, you can verify the same from the website or the application of e-courts and verify that whether the dispute is pending against the property or not. Now, next is to draft the sale deed very properly. Many a times it has been seen that many cases or the litigations are lost just because the narration of the property or the history of the property which is purchased by you is not mentioned properly in the sale deed. So always engage some advocate who can draft the detailed sale deed for you. And once the sale deed is drafted in detail, then it must be registered and required stamp duty should be paid, as well as registration fee should be paid. Then only your transaction will be considered as a complete transaction. Now, last but not the least, you should always take the legal opinion before you purchase the property, because whatever I have mentioned, these are the headings, or I would say headings of the checklist which are required to be verified or considered. But there are so many technicalities which are also required to be addressed. Therefore, some legal opinions should always be obtained before you purchase any property, because you are investing your life earning. Then you should make sure that it should not get stuck just because of lack of verification of documents. We will continue to upload such informative content on this channel. Therefore, like the video, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get the notification of new contents so that you can get regular updates from this channel. Thank you very much.